The arrival. The Vexari warships appeared without warning. One moment, Earth's skies were clear. The next, they were filled with massive vessels that seemed to absorb sunlight rather than reflect it. Their hulls were not metal as humans understood it, but something more akin to liquid obsidian frozen in place, dotted with pulsing violet lights that seemed to follow no discernible pattern. In Geneva, the United Earth Defense Council scrambled to make sense of the situation. Panic rose like floodwater as communication systems worldwide went silent, replaced by a single broadcast. People of Earth. The message began, the alien's voice translated into mechanically perfect English. I am Grand Admiral Zexthul of the Vexari Dominion. Your primitive world now falls under our protection and governance. Resistance is futile. Our technology is beyond your comprehension. Our shields have never been breached. We recommend immediate surrender to minimize casualties. Commander Elena Reyes watched the transmission from the underground command center beneath what remained of Chicago. At 42, she had spent her life in military service, her dark hair now streaked with premature gray, her brown eyes hardened by too many conflicts. But nothing had prepared her for this. Status report, she demanded, turning to her assembled team. Major James Wilson, her tactical officer, pulled up a holographic display. It's bad, Commander. They've taken out our satellite network, disabled nuclear arsenals worldwide, and destroyed the International Space Station as a demonstration. Conventional weapons bounce off their shields like rain on a window. Dr. Mei Lin, their resident xenotechnologist, stepped forward. The Vexari have conquered 17 known worlds according to their own broadcast. Their shield technology appears to be energy-based, possibly phase-shifted to prevent any kinetic penetration. Elena rubbed her temples. Options. The room fell silent. Then a voice spoke from the back. We find a weakness. All eyes turned to technical surgeon David Okafor, a Nigerian-born engineer with a reputation for unconventional solutions. He approached the central display, pulling up scattered readings from the initial attacks. Every system has a flaw, he continued. No shield can be perfect. The energy requirements alone would be astronomical. They must have optimized their defenses against threats they've faced before. But they've never faced humans. Elena finished his thought, a small smile forming on her lips. Exactly. David nodded. The Vexari expect us to use what they already know. Missiles, railguns, lasers. But what if we try something they've never encountered? For the next 72 hours, the bunker transformed into a workshop of desperate innovation. Elena authorized recon teams to retrieve fragments of downed Vexari scout ships, small pieces the aliens deemed too insignificant to recover. Dr. Lin worked tirelessly, analyzing the alien technology, while David and his engineering team reverse-engineered what they could. On the fourth day, as the Vexari began systematic cleansing operations across northern Europe, Elena received a summons to the lab. We found something, Dr. Lin said, her eyes bloodshot from lack of sleep, but shining with excitement. The Vexari shields operate on a quantum resonance frequency that's incredibly stable, but not completely. David pulled up a simulation. See this pattern. Every 3.7 seconds, there's a microscopic fluctuation. It lasts only milliseconds, but it's consistent. Can we exploit it? Elena asked. Conventional weapons, no, David explained. By the time a missile reached the target, the window would be closed. But, he hesitated, we've been experimenting with something else. He led Elena to a large chamber where a bizarre contraption stood. It looked like a cross between a radio tower and a particle accelerator, with salvaged Vexari components integrated throughout. We're calling it a harmonic disruptor, David said. It emits a precise electromagnetic pulse, tuned to the exact inverse of their shield frequency. When timed correctly with the fluctuation, it creates a momentary gap. Elena finished. One that conventional weapons can penetrate, Dr. Lin added. But we'll only get a single shot before they adapt. Elena stared at the device. How many can we build? With available materials. Maybe 12. And they'll have to be deployed within 2 kilometers of each target to be effective. 2 kilometers, practically suicide range. Alina closed her eyes briefly. Start production immediately. And get me a map of all Vexari ship positions. Within a week, Operation Thunderstrike was ready. 12 teams, each with a harmonic disruptor and limited heavy artillery, were dispatched to locations around the globe where Vexari vessels hovered over major cities. Alina led Team 1 personally, setting up in the ruins of Chicago's Willis Tower. The Vexari command vessel loomed above them, 16 kilometers long and shaped like a curved blade. From their position, they could see the violet energy fields shimmering around it. This is Thunderstrike Actual to all teams. Alina spoke into her secure communicator. Status check. One by one, the teams reported in. All were in position. Remember, Alina said, synchronize your disruptors to the countdown. We get one chance at this. If it works, fire everything you have at the exact coordinates during the window. She turned to David, who monitored the disruptor's power levels. Ready when you are, Commander, he said. Alina took a deep breath. For Earth, then. All teams, initiate operation in 3, 2, 1. Mark. The disruptors activated simultaneously, sending invisible waves of energy toward the Vexari ships. For a terrifying moment, nothing happened. Then, Alina's sensor beeped, showing a minuscule breach in the shield pattern. Fire, she shouted. Earth's remaining artillery, a desperate collection of missiles, railguns, and experimental weapons, launched toward the 12 target ships. Alina watched as the projectiles approached the Vexari command vessel, expecting them to dissipate against the shields as all previous attacks had. Instead, they passed through. The explosions that followed were beyond anything Alina had anticipated. The alien materials reacted catastrophically with Earth weapons, creating chain reactions that tore through the massive ship. Across her communications channel, similar reports flooded in from other teams. But the victory was short-lived. Only 7 of the 12 targets were significantly damaged. The others quickly adapted, their shields shifting frequency. And now, they knew they were vulnerable. All teams, relocate immediately. Alina ordered as the undamaged Vexari ships began retaliatory bombardment. The Willis Tower shook around them as energy weapons targeted their position. As they evacuated, Alina looked back to see the damaged command vessel retreating to higher orbit, trailing what appeared to be plasma from its wounded hull. Did we just win? David asked as they reached the underground evacuation tunnels. Alina shook her head, watching more Vexari ships descending from orbit to replace the damaged ones. No, she said grimly, but we just showed them that this won't be the easy conquest they expected. Above them, the night sky lit up with alien weapons fire, but for the first time since the invasion began, there was something new in the air. Hope. The CUNT. 3 months after Operation Thunderstrike, humanity was still fighting and dying. The Vexari had responded to their vulnerability with ruthless efficiency, rotating shield frequencies randomly and deploying smaller, faster attack craft that could evade Earth's limited defenses. Major population centers lay in ruins, and survivors retreated to underground facilities or remote wilderness areas. Yet the resistance grew stronger. The knowledge that the Invincible could be wounded spread like wildfire, inspiring guerrilla attacks worldwide. Small victories accumulated. A supply ship ambushed, a communications relay destroyed, a landing party eliminated. In the former Australian Outback Astronomical Observatory, now Resistance Outpost Epsilon, Commander Alina Reyes studied holographic projections of Vexari fleet movements. The room was crowded with maps, salvaged alien technology, and exhausted personnel working around the clock. They're concentrating forces over what's left of Sydney, she noted, addressing her expanded leadership team. Why there specifically? Dr. Mei Lin, now the head of Alien Technology Analysis, zoomed in on the area. Our scouts report they're excavating something, possibly mining for specific minerals or establishing a ground base. Whatever it is, they're protecting it heavily, Major Wilson added. 3 capital ships and at least 24 fighters. Elena frowned. Too many to hit directly, especially now that our disruptor strategy is compromised. About that, a new voice interrupted. Dr. Marcus Chen, formerly of MIT's quantum physics department, stepped forward. Disheveled and unshaven, he'd been working nonstop since joining the resistance a month earlier. I've been analyzing the data from all our engagements, successful and failed. He pulled up a complex waveform display. The Vexari aren't just randomly shifting their shield frequencies. There's a pattern, a mathematical progression based on what I believe is their version of the Fibonacci sequence. The room fell silent as Dr. Chen continued, his hands flying over the holographic controls. If I'm right, we can predict the shield modulations approximately 12 seconds in advance, enough time to recalibrate our disruptors. That's our window, Elena realized. But the disruptors were largely destroyed in the counterattacks. David Okafor, now promoted to chief engineer, stepped forward. We've been working on something better. He led the group to a cavernous hangar where dozens of technicians swarmed around modified human aircraft. Attached beneath their wings were strange, bulbous devices cobbled together from Vexari technology. We're calling them frequency-matched penetrators, David explained. They actively scan and adapt to shield harmonics in real time. Combined with Dr. Chen's predictive algorithm, we can breach their defenses consistently, Elena finished, hope rising in her chest. Theoretically, Dr. Chen cautioned, we haven't field-tested them yet. Elena studied the modified fighters. Then it's time we did. If the Vexari are establishing a permanent base in Sydney, we need to stop them now, before they're fully entrenched. The plan came together quickly. 24 hours later, Operation Spectre was underway. 3 squadrons of modified aircraft approached Sydney from different vectors, flying nap of the Earth to avoid early detection. Elena coordinated from a mobile command center 50 kilometers outside the city. Remember, she told the pilots over secure comms, Dr. Chen's algorithm gives us a 12-second prediction window. Time your approach accordingly and maintain radio silence until engagement. Captain Sarah Martinez, leading Alpha Squadron, acknowledged with a brief double-click of her transmitter. A former civilian crop duster pilot, she now commanded Earth's most elite aerial combat unit, a testament to how thoroughly the invasion had transformed society. As the squadrons reached the outer perimeter of Sydney, Vexari sensors finally detected them. Alien interceptors launched immediately, their violet energy shields glowing against the dawn sky. All units, execute attack pattern Delta, Elena ordered. Deploy penetrators only when you have confirmed target lock. The human aircraft scattered, demonstrating a maneuverability the heavier Vexari vessels couldn't match. Captain Martinez rolled her fighter beneath an enemy interceptor, her voice steady as she reported. Alpha lead has lock. Deploying penetrator in 3, 2, 1. The modified weapon detached from her wing, its guidance systems tracking the Vexari shield frequency. For a moment, it seemed to shimmer with the same violet energy as the alien shields. Then it passed through cleanly and detonated. The Vexari interceptor disintegrated, raining debris onto the ruined city below. Confirmed kill, Martinez exclaimed. The penetrator worked. Similar confirmations came from other pilots as more alien craft fell. The Vexari, clearly caught off guard by this new threat, began evasive maneuvers and called for reinforcements from the capital ships overhead. They're adapting, Dr. Chen warned, monitoring shield frequencies from the command center. The algorithm needs recalibration. Now, Elena transmitted the updated parameters to the squadron leaders. Most received the data in time to adjust their attacks. 2 weren't so fortunate. Their penetrators disintegrated harmlessly against refreshed Vexari shields. Despite these losses, the human fighters pressed their advantage. systematically destroying the alien interceptors. Then, the capital ships began to descend. All squadrons, be advised, Alina warned. 3 Vexari dreadnoughts on approach. These will have significantly stronger shields than the interceptors. The massive ships moved with surprising grace, their weapons charging. The first salvo vaporized 4 human aircraft instantly. "We need to withdraw," Major Wilson urged. "Those capital ships outgun us by orders of magnitude." Alina hesitated, studying the tactical display. "Wait. Look at their positioning." The 3 Vexari dreadnoughts had formed a triangular pattern above the excavation site, their shields overlapping to create an impenetrable dome. "They're protecting something down there," she realized. "Something vital." "Rodriguez," she addressed one of the surveillance operators, "get me visual on that dig site." Moments later, a grainy image appeared on screen. The Vexari had unearthed what appeared to be an ancient structure, definitely not of human origin. "Another alien technology," Dr. Lin suggested, "perhaps from a previous civilization." "Whatever it is, they want it badly," Alina said. "Change of plans. All squadrons, focus penetrator strikes on the following coordinates." She transmitted the exact center of the triangular formation. "Maximum concentration." "That's suicide," Major Wilson protested. "They'll be caught in the crossfire from all 3 ships." "Not if they time it right," Alina countered. "Dr. Chen, can your algorithm predict when all 3 shield systems will be in synchronous fluctuation?" The physicist worked furiously at his terminal. "Yes, there's a harmonic convergence every 47.3 seconds when all 3 shields reach minimum integrity simultaneously." "That's our window," Alina decided. "Captain Martinez, coordinate the attack run. All penetrators to deploy at precisely the same moment." The remaining fighters regrouped, taking heavy losses as they maneuvered into position. The Vexari intensified their defensive fire, seemingly aware of the humans' intentions, but unable to break formation without exposing the excavation site. "Convergence in 15 seconds, Dr. Chen announced. 14, 13. Captain Martins led the formation directly toward the center point between the 3 capital ships. "All units, arm penetrators. We get 1 pass at this." 8, 7, 6. Enemy fire surrounded the human aircraft, claiming more with each second. 3, 2, 1. Now. Every remaining penetrator launched simultaneously, streaking toward the center of the Vexari formation. For a breathless moment, it seemed they would all be intercepted by defensive fire. Then they passed through the momentarily aligned shield gaps. The explosion was unlike anything they had witnessed. The penetrators detonated not just against the ships, but against each other, creating a cascading reaction that expanded outward. All 3 Vexari dreadnoughts were caught in the blast, their overlapping shields actually containing and intensifying the energy before failing catastrophically. The command center erupted in cheers as the massive vessels broke apart, secondary explosions tearing through their hulls as they crashed into the ruins of Sydney. "My God," Major Wilson whispered. "It worked." "Status report," Alina demanded, silencing the celebration. 14 aircraft returning to base, came the response. 10 lost in action. "But Mom, the Vexari fleet is retreating. All remaining ships are breaking orbit." Alina stared at the tactical display in disbelief. "They're running." Dr. Lin studied the incoming data, not just from Sydney, worldwide. The Vexari are abandoning Earth entirely. As confirmation reports flooded in from resistance cells across the globe, Alina felt a weight lifting from her shoulders, only to be replaced by a new concern. "Get a reconnaissance team to that excavation site immediately," she ordered. "I want to know what was so important that they were willing to sacrifice 3 capital ships to protect it." 1 week later, Alina stood at the edge of the massive crater that had once been downtown Sydney. In the center, partially exposed by Vexari excavation, stood a structure unlike anything of human design, a towering monolith covered in symbols that seemed to shift when viewed directly. "What have we learned?" She asked Dr. Lin, who supervised the research team. "It's a beacon," the scientist replied. "Or more accurately, a warning beacon, left by a species that apparently encountered the Vexari long before humans evolved. From what we can translate, they were called the Preservers." "Warning about what?" Dr. Lin gestured to the monolith. "About us. Humanity. The Preservers visited Earth millions of years ago and recognized something in our evolutionary ancestors, a potential they found both promising and terrifying. They left this beacon to warn spacefaring civilizations to leave us alone." Elena absorbed this revelation slowly. And the Vexari were trying to destroy it, or use it. "We believe they were trying to decode the full message. What they found apparently scared them enough to abandon their invasion entirely." A small smile formed on Elena's lips. "So after everything, our technology, our weapons, our desperate tactics, what finally drove them away was simply learning more about what humans might become." Dr. Lin nodded. "The Preservers saw something in us worth protecting. Something that made them mourn the galaxy to leave us in peace." As the sun set over the ruins of Sydney, Elena looked up at the stars, no longer filled with Vexari warships, but once again presenting the possibility of a future where humanity would venture outward on its own terms. "Then let's make sure we live up to their expectations," she said. In orbit, the last Vexari ship disappeared into the darkness between stars, carrying with it a message to the wider galaxy. Earth was not to be trifled with. Humans had done what 17 other worlds could not. They had faced the Invincible and emerged victorious. The war was over. Humanity's next chapter was just beginning.